Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Wagner recordings. Now, I need to warn you, this particular chat is probably going to be a garbage heap. And the reason is because, well, first of all, Wagner just excites people to say incredibly stupid things. And second of all, there is so much Wagnerian crap sort of buzzing around the record universe. And by that, I mean live recordings, every performance ever done at Bayreuth, everything anyone's ever done anywhere, videos, and there's somebody who loves all of it. You know, there isn't anything that someone doesn't think is the most fabulous thing they've ever heard. So I'm warning you in advance. First of all, people who are contributing, do try and, put your personalities in neutral for a little while, if you can do that. And think about it. Pretend to be objective. Say, these are the 5 greatest. If I had to recommend this music to somebody who knew nothing about Wagner, what could I give them? What would give them the best combination of singing and orchestral playing and sonics, and not go for, the crusty armpit of the operatic universe? Okay? I'm just asking. Please. For me. Please. And then, so that's one thing. And then for the people who don't know Wagner too well, who are looking at that, just enjoy the insanity. Because a lot of it's just loony, whoopity, 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 whoop. So, Wagner does that to people. So, the 5 greatest Wagner recordings. First, Tristan und Isolde, with Birgit Nilsson, Wolfgang Windgassen, Karl Böhm on DG. Yes, there's a live one from like 5 years previously with mostly these same people. Some people think it's better. This is a glorious, fabulously well-recorded, amazingly well-sung recording. Period. Period. Exclamation point. There needs to be nothing else said. Others may like other versions of this opera. Others will, of course, but they're not as good as this one, so who cares? Next, Lohengrin. Now, I think Lohengrin is monumentally dull. I really do, unless the performance is just like, wow! The performance has to be amazing. Verdi went to see Lohengrin in Vienna, and he wrote back and he said, well, I fell asleep in the middle of it, but I took heart in the fact that all the Viennese were sleeping too. So it's really got to be special, and this one is special with Jess Thomas and Elizabeth Grümmer and Fischer-Dieskau and Christa Ludwig as Ortrud and Telebarund. Ooh! And Kempe conducting. Kempe was amazing on Wagner. It's just a great, great, great performance. And it keeps the thing moving, and it keeps it interesting and even exciting in spots. I mean, gosh knows. I mean, that's really exciting. I mean, I remember when I went to see it at the Met, and I drove all the way up from Baltimore with a good friend of mine. We were like really excited. We had tickets, good seats. And, we were just dying through the whole thing. The only exciting part was when Telebarund starts fighting. It's the fight where he gets killed. And you could tell Wagner wanted to get it over with as fast as possible. Everyone's sitting there. Then all of a sudden the trombones start going, splat. It's all over in 30 seconds. And then you got to sit through the rest of it. Oh my God. So, you need a great performance. And this is a great performance. Die Meistersinger. Now, I love Die Meistersinger, especially when it's not being staged. I just think it's the most beautiful piece to put on and relax and let it just flow. It's a contrapuntal masterpiece. It's full of just endless melody. Really, maybe it's the best embodiment of Wagner's concept of endless melody, because as soon as one ends, another takes off. It's got a second act that's one of the most fun and concise things that Wagner ever did. It's really just splendid. The procession of the masters and all that garbage at the end is a little bit much, but you don't begrudge him the time it takes to get there. That's the point. Anyway, Jess Stewart, Sándor Kónya, Gundel Janowitz, Raphael Kubelik. If you can find it on Arts Music or a couple other labels. This was the tapes were owned by Bavarian Radio. It would really make sense if they could release this on their own label. I mean, it needs to be constantly available because Meistersinger recordings are notoriously tricky. and hard to come by. And this one was just amazing, absolutely amazing, fabulous. He also, Kubelik, did an amazing Parsifal around the same time. These were intended to be studio recordings, but there were contractual issues, and they all just festered in the archives until they could finally get released. And boy, was Kubelik a great Wagner conductor. He just had it, because his Lohengrin is also very good. So it's just an amazing performance of a problematic opera for a lot of reasons. It needs a really great ensemble cast, and like I said, the orchestration is just it needs to be kept transparent and light and fresh, and oh gosh, Kubelik does all that. Then the Flying Dutchman, another incredibly stupid opera. I mean, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. I mean, Senta is out of her mind from the beginning. Eric is in love with her for some reason. She treats him like dirt. The Dutchman, well, we all know what his motivation is. And Senta's dad, I mean, here, have my daughter, Dutchman, take her. Ugh, ridiculous. But if you're going to take it at all, take it seriously, and Klemperer does. Fabulous, legendary recording. Theo Adam, Anya Silja, Marty Talvela. Oh my God. It's just dazzling. And the original ending, not the sort of more transfigurified thing at the end. Oh my goodness, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. It almost makes you believe in the thing. And if you really can't stand it, just listen to the overture. And last but not least, certainly not least, the Ring Orchestral Excerpts. I wanted to do a disc of Wagner stuff, not just complete operas. And I'm deliberately leaving out the Ring because it's always a battle about what is the greatest Ring. It's too big a work for any one person to get all of it absolutely right. I mean, there's always going to be something, some casting thing or something conducting thing somewhere. And I know that lots of you folks will be more than happy to chime in with with the greatest ever. Forget your favorite, the greatest ever. Distancing yourself and selecting the objectively greatest, whether you agree with it or not. But for orchestral excerpts, I wanted to represent the Ring, and that's Szell and the Cleveland Orchestra on Sony. One of the great Wagner discs ever, for sure. One of the greatest Wagner discs ever. And it's all the juicy excerpts that you ever want to hear from the Ring, played to a fare thee well. Absolutely phenomenal. Remember, Szell was the conductor of the Schulte Ring that didn't conduct the Schulte Ring because he insisted he couldn't get the right casting to do it, which was like nuts when you consider how fabulously cast the Schulte Ring was. But that was him. That was Szell, and he would have, his recording. Could you just imagine? Well, we can. We can listen to this disc of Wagner Ring excerpts, and they are just dazzling. So that, my friends, is the list of the 5 greatest Wagner recordings. And I look forward to hearing yours or seeing yours. And, well, maybe I don't look forward to it as much as some others, but we will all do our best, right? I knew I could count on you. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.